right, good morning. What do you say? Ready to get started? Shall we continue with this fun day? And I love how Naila really set the stage. You know, there's a lot going on in the world, but today is about you guys. And so I want to welcome you to the life-changing power of more joy at work. And this is a workshop where we're really going to focus on you and your colleagues and our community here, and just really talk about ways that we can reflect, envision, and act to cultivate more joy at work. So I know that we have a great group of happy people because you're all here at the Joy Workshop. So welcome. And I want to introduce myself. I'm Lisa Rykert, and I am a life and career coach with Kula Coaching. That's my own business. And I used to work here at UC Berkeley. I worked here for 7.5 years, and I worked in HR and organizational development. And then there was some downsizing back in 2009. And I reflected on seeing that happening and thinking, what's next for me? Here's a chance. I can continue to look for opportunities here at Berkeley, but I had this dream. I had this joyful calling of wanting to be a life coach. That was like the part of my job I loved so much. Being in HR was like employee development and working one-on-one with groups and doing the parts of that job that were really positive and employee-centered. And so I decided to go ahead and transition, and I welcomed the transition. And I just had a certain mindset about that and thought, I'm gonna take this risk and see where it leads. And it was challenging and scary at first. Like I've been working since I'm 13 years old as an employee, in Burger King and college, funding my way through school, then, in nonprofit organizations, private organizations. So over 20 years, and now all of a sudden, here I am taking this leap of faith. And it was scary, and it was really fun, and it was challenging, and it was a lot of investment of my own time and resources, but I put a plan together, and here I am, and I'm making it happen. And so this is almost a circuitous path for me, is that now I get to be back here at UC Berkeley presenting and doing what I love to do. So it's great to be back here. And I want to encourage you to reflect and think about, in your path, what are the opportunities? There are many opportunities here, and there are many opportunities outside. So we'll take a look at that as we explore joyful opportunities. And there is a lot of change and challenge going on throughout campus, throughout the world. And as I stated in the program that you guys probably read to register, is that 5 minutes of anger can decrease the immune system for up to 6 hours. And so while there are lots of things in the world or in our life circumstances to be angry about, and it's okay to honor your feelings, I want to help you move through that and reflect on the benefits of happiness and joy. And so 1 minute of laughter or just pure joy can improve the immune system for up to 24 hours. And so I hope today, it's my intention, that we're going to have a lot of joy and laughter that's going to improve your immune system, not just for 24 hours, but for weeks and months. And that when you are thinking about situations that feel challenging, that you can honor your feelings and you'll be able to move through and choose a more whole state of being and experience joy in the challenges that are also happening in the world. So today, the purpose of this workshop is really to help you reflect, envision, and act on the perceptions and choices to help you really experience more joy at work. And we're going to do that through a lot of engaging exercises. So I have some different exercises. That is, what you have in your hands today is the Joy Guide, and that's for you to really take these practices outside of today's session. That is a 5-day, a 1-week plan for you to really, after we talk about the 5 seeds of joy, for you to really plant and nurture the seeds that cultivate joy in your workplace. And so that's a 5-day plan, and I hope that you'll be able to take it and then create your own ideas and share in your community. So the Joy Guide has some personal practices and some social practices, and we're going to do some personal practices and social practices here today. And so I'm really thrilled to create this workshop especially for you guys, and my intention is really to share these 5 seeds of joy that I just think are ways to help you have a creative and supportive mindset, really connect with the deeper sense of your state of well-being. And there are so many definitions, there are so many seeds for joy, and these are 5 that I think and that I have seen that work really well in my own life with my clients, and there are many names for them. So let's look at the 5 seeds. So we're going to talk today about awareness. Awareness is mindfulness. We're also going to talk about the power of surrender when you're feeling stuck or things just aren't the way that you really want them to be. Then we'll talk about the power of connection, and then the power of appreciation, and then we will talk about celebrate. And in addition to talking about these things, we're going to reflect and we're going to act on some of these activities to plant those seeds. Okay, and we talked about the Joy Guide, so you'll also leave with your own plan to take this out of the session. So, did everybody receive the Joy Guide? Does anyone need a copy? Okay, we need one right over here and up here, please. And you can also grab one on the way out. Okay, so before we start talking about joy, I know there's a lot of semantics, or there are different definitions, like is there a difference between joy and happiness? And while there are some subtle differences, happiness, I love this quote by Danielle Laporte, happiness is like rising bubbles, delightful and fleeting. Joy is the oxygen, ever present. And so happiness is often experienced by external factors or experiences. And joy is that deeper state of well-being that, no matter what is happening in the world, we can still reflect back on these different seeds of appreciation or celebration or surrender and experience our inner joy. And so for our purposes today, they're interconnected. And we're going to be talking about joy, and happiness can deepen joy. And when we're in a state of joy, we're more open to experiencing happiness. So an example of happiness might be you won the lottery, or you got a new job at work, and you're so thrilled. You went through the process, you got that job. And a state of joy for work is that now you get to contribute your strengths and skills in making a difference. You really went for it and you acquired a job that is in alignment with what you want to do. That's a state of joy, that deeper satisfaction. And even if you spend all your winnings in the lottery, or say the job changes or goes away, you can still reflect on your contributions in that job, or you can reflect on the experiences or the good that you did with your lottery winnings. So those are the subtle differences. There are external experiences, but it's how we feel inside and what we take from those experiences to cultivate the deeper joy that's aligned with our values. Okay. So let's start with the first seed of joy, and that is awareness. And so right now we're getting aware of what is joy, what is the difference, what are some of the similarities. And one of the seeds to cultivating joy is just being in a present state of mindfulness. And so we all have access to joy in this moment. And a lot of times it's our perception and our focus and what we choose to focus on. And then there's the awareness that we receive through others who are sharing joyful experiences. What are we tuning into? What are we tapping into? Where are we giving our focus and attention? Is it to the news and all the negativity, or are we carving out time, to really focus our awareness on joy, on things that bring us joy, on things that are aligned with our values? Are we turning off the news, or are we having connecting conversations? Are we in gratitude? Are we being who we want to be? And so one way to practice awareness and to cultivate that, which gives us a deeper state of wholeness or joy, is through mindfulness practice or meditation. And it's great that there is a mindfulness session today, and we're going to do a brief mindfulness practice right here, right now. So in order for us to really get into the mindset of being present and letting more joy in, I want everybody to stand up. And we're going to do like a mountain pose. So you want your feet about shoulder width apart, and your hands relaxed with your palms sort of facing open and out. Just take 3 deep breaths. Just in no special way, just to take 3 deep breaths that just really let the oxygen into your body. Breathe in, breathe out. Let go of all of the thoughts and just release all of the mind chatter and be here, be present in this moment. Breathe in all that oxygen. Let go, release. Just taking time to do deep breathing for 2 minutes a day can change the physiology of your body, your mind, and your heart, and open you up to deeper states of just contentment. Breathe in, breathe out, release. Just become centered and present. As you're present, just notice. Notice how you're feeling in your body. Just notice the sensation of your feet firmly on the ground, or how your clothes feel on your body. Listen to the sounds around you and just notice without any judgment. Just notice and be present. Take in the senses of smell, taste. What do you feel? What is the temperature? Just come to present. Continue to breathe deeply. And just open your heart and your mind and your body. Just relax your body and invite joy in. When you feel ready, just take a last cycle of breathing in and out, and then just sit down. Okay, this is a practice that you can do every day, multiple times a day. When you're feeling stressed, just stop and be mindful. Just focus your awareness on the present. Let go of judgment and be here now. We're so busy with the mind chatter of what we have to do, or reflecting on what just happened in a meeting, that it gets so overwhelming and distracting. And this is such a powerful way to let go and have more creativity and more calm and centeredness. So another way to experience mindfulness and open up to joy is to really sharing joyful stories. And so now what I want everybody to do is reflect, think on one work-related experience that gives you a sense of joy. Okay, it can be anything. It can be really small, it can be really big, it can be really simple, it can be amazing. For example, I was so happy that I left early and there was no traffic here on the way to the conference. Of course, I left at 6:45 because I wanted to get a parking spot. And I had my choice of parking spots, for the lots that didn't have the reserved spot for the concert today or tonight. So, it could be something simple like that, or all the green lights that I was getting here on the way. So I want you to really just think about something that brings you joy, okay? And now I want you to just find one person, partner up. It can be somebody you know or don't know, somebody sitting next to you. And the person with the shortest hair, I want you to go first. And you will be the person sharing. And then the other person, the other person who's listening, just really be present and just practice listening, really deep listening. Like you don't have to say, oh yeah, me too, or I did that too. Just really listen we're gonna do 90 seconds, okay? And then we'll switch. So, okay, ready? Go ahead. Okay. Oh, great. Now, raise your hand if just by sharing your story, you felt happier, more joyful. All right, great, it's working. The workshop's working. And then raise your hand if just by listening to somebody else's story, you felt more joyful or even inspired. Yeah. So just the power of reflection and sharing and deeply listening, awareness. So those are some activities you can do for yourself and then with others. And then the next seed that I want to share, the next seed of joy, is the seed of surrender. Surrender is really about giving up resistance and allowing for peace and joy. And so, a lot of times there are just things going on and we just don't want them to be the way they are. And we feel like we have no control, but we want to control it. And sometimes the best thing you can do is simply give it space and allow. And I want to tell you a really cool story that I had in trying to come up with the name for my business, which is Kula Coaching. And so as I was trying to come up with a name, I wanted it to be like something that really connected with people but reflected who I am and what I love. And one of the things that is really special to me is Hawaii and going to Maui and the language, the Hawaiian language and the meaning behind it. And so that was just really something that was cool. And I just sort of thought, well, that would be neat if my name could have some kind of Hawaiian name, but I hadn't really given it much thought. It was just sort of a broad intention. And so over 3 months of time, I'm like trying to build my website and come up with a name for my business. And I'm thinking of everything like top coach, quantum coaching, success coach, like they're all taken. I must have searched hundreds of names and I'm going online and everything's taken over 3 months. Just thinking, oh, I'm just gonna do brainstorming. I'll be really creative. And this was going on for 3 months, for quite a while. And I'm getting ready to launch my website and I wanted to have a name and a brand. And, after a week of intense searching but not finding the right thing or something that was very duplicative of somebody else's name or business brand, I just decided, I'm just done. I'm just gonna let it go. I can't come up with it. Every single name is taken. Every domain name is taken. And so, one afternoon, and this is rare, but for some reason, divine guidance or something, I decided to take a nap. And it doesn't really happen often. So I laid down on my bed to just take a nap and relax. And all of a sudden, my cat jumped up on my chest as I was laying down, and my cat's name is Kuna. And I also had a dog, his name was Lance. And one of the things that's really important to me is animals and nature, and I love rescuing animals. And my cat jumped up and just stared at me. And while I wasn't thinking of anything, all of a sudden I had this like eureka moment. And I put Kuna's name together and Lance's name together, and I came up with Kula, and it sounded so Hawaiian. And I knew that there was a town in Maui called Kula, and I ran to my laptop and I put in Kula Coaching, and nobody had that name. And then I was like, while I was doing the Google search, this link of Hawaiian names and meanings came up, and so there was this dictionary, and I typed in Kula, and Kula, it had, actually it was all meanings, international meanings of words. And so I typed in Kula, and what Kula meant in Hawaii was open field of possibilities. And what it meant in Sanskrit was a community of love. And it was just the perfect name. And it was inspired by like my beloved pets. And so that is how Kula Coaching sort of magically manifested. It was when I gave up and I was done and I wasn't thinking, and I let inspiration just come in. I just like let go of it. And when I wasn't trying so hard and I was in a relaxed state, it came to me. And then everything just fell in place. So that's a story of surrender. It's like when we surrender, we can allow like miracles and magic or synchronicities to happen. So I want you now to write down and think about what is one work-related thing that you just, you're having a really hard time accepting, or you're working on, you feel stuck, it's not going anywhere. What's one thing that you would love to surrender? Okay, one thing you're struggling with. I want you to think about it and write it down. And I can help you out. I'll give you some prompts. And so, you could say something like, I release my blank of blank. Like, I release my, necessity of coming up with a website name, or I release, my whatever it is. I release blank, and I allow, what do you want to allow in? I'm going to give you a minute to really think about that and write it down. Writing down something is also so powerful. You take it out of your mind, you put it in physical form, and it's another powerful way to put it out to the universe. And you let go of it in your head when you write it down. If you're feeling really stuck on something and you don't even feel ready to let it go, you can give yourself the space by saying, I'm willing to let it go just for a while. Just for a while, just for today. Okay, does everybody have something that they're willing to let go? Raise your hand if you were able to identify something that you want to let go. You want to surrender. Excellent. Okay. Now, I challenge you to speak it. Declare it. I want you to partner with somebody, or if you're in a group, share it in a group. And I want you to share what you're willing to let go, and just declare it. And again, for those listening, you don't have to try to solve it or point anybody in resources. I want you again just to really receive and listen, and just support that person by, just nodding and receiving, just through deep active listening. Okay, so let's see, the person with the biggest feet, you go first. Okay, and then we'll switch. So I want you to take 1 minute and declare what you're willing to let go. Is everybody surrendered? Okay, now I just love seeing the smiling faces and the laughter. That's great. And I have another challenge for you. So now that you've shared with each other, I would encourage you to be each other's joy buddies and check back. If you gave if you shared something, check in with each other and share what happened, what unfolded, how did that solve itself, or what magic or miracle or synchronicity happened. And afterwards, later down the road, if you feel like you have something to do to support that person, with what they're struggling with, you can give support. But, give some time and space and allow that to unfold, and then update each other on it. And you'll be inspired by what happens. Okay? How many people just felt inspired by hearing other people's challenges of what they're struggling with and willing to let go? Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to share or comment on, or a question? Okay. All right. So surrender is a powerful seed to nurturing the soil of joy. And our next seed, once you surrender, you're opening up that space for connection. And so that is our next seed of joy, and it is connection. And I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of small, but of the top things that employees love about their jobs, the number one factor is their relationship with their peers and coworkers. Now, there are elements of job satisfaction, but the one thing that engaged employees appreciate the most is their relationships with their peers and colleagues. 51% of people who are engaged rated that as their number one factor. And so, think about it. Think about how much more fun work is when we enjoy and we have connection with our coworkers, our colleagues, our staff, the community. So that is a very powerful seed to cultivating joy. And I want you to think of a joyful connection that you have with somebody at work. What is it that just makes it fun, makes it joyful? How is that person? And, how do they show up? How do they bring themselves to work or offer themselves? And because, we all really would rather be around happy people. How does it feel? It's contagious. Or how does it feel when we're around somebody who's not happy and, who's negative all the time? So, and it's okay, that happens every now and then. We all go through rough times. But what is the overall, the general, feeling or energy that person is bringing, or that you are bringing? And how are you to others? How do you think others perceive you? Are you a happy person? Are you sharing joy, or what kind of energy are you sharing? So I want you to think about a connection that you have with somebody that is a joyful experience, and just think about what makes it that way.
And it could be someone at work, right?
Well, ideally, if it could be, yes, work related. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. And, if you're having a hard time, thinking of someone, just think about yourself. How could you create a more joyful experience with somebody, even somebody that you're feeling challenged with? You could identify what is an experience that I can create for myself that would bring me more joy. Okay. So now I want you to share the experience. So again, partner up and share. Share an experience of somebody who really makes it fun for you at work, or how you would like it to be more fun. Okay? What you could do. I'm going to give you a minute, and let's see, the person with the shortest hands. Okay? So you actually have to connect and measure your hands. You go first this time. Great. So I want to share with you something that is now happening. So you can wrap up. So we're doing a lot of connecting. We're sharing our stories, we're connecting with people. And as a result of that, we are producing oxytocin, which is the connecting gene. And that is a positive hormone of well-being. And when you are sharing and speaking and engaging and listening and feeling listened to, that is another way that you're boosting your physiology and your states of well-being. And so that is the beauty of connection and how it also increases joy. And the opposite of connection and what often leads to disconnection is a feeling of isolation. And so just feeling disconnected or lonely or not able to relate can really create a barrier to joy and increase stress and anxiety. And so if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, I encourage you to reach out and connect with somebody who really can listen, who accepts you, who supports you, and you will be supporting one another and increasing your joy. Okay? Then our next seed of joy is appreciation. So this is such a fun and simple principle, is what we appreciate appreciates. And that's one of our basic need, after our basic needs, food, clothing, shelter. One of our human cravings is that we crave appreciation, attention, and affection. And so, if we all recognize that's something we all crave and enjoy is appreciation. And so if you want to feel appreciated, then, be what you want to put out, give what you want to put out. And, find ways to appreciate life. Find ways, first of all, to appreciate yourself. So when you can really just identify, I'm proud of myself. I acknowledge myself for this. I am a darn hard worker, and I just am so caring about the students and my team. And, really, when you can start to own and acknowledge, your own accomplishments, then you feel more confident, and you're also, able to give it freely too, because you're getting it from yourself, and you don't need so much of it from others. But, when you're practicing doing that on yourself, you also then get really good at noticing what others do well. And it's fun to appreciate yourself as well as others. And so I want you to do this exercise, and I want you to really think about 20 things that you appreciate about yourself. Now, a lot of people find this very challenging. 20 things, okay? Now, it can be the tiniest thing, or the biggest thing, the most simple thing, or the amazing thing. I appreciate that I'm still sitting in this workshop, okay? Or I appreciate that, I got to work on time today, or, I appreciate that I met that deadline, or that I didn't lose my cool with that person. So I want you to think of anything. This is really it's a good practice. We're so good at looking at all the things that are wrong with us. We could probably easily come up with a list of 100 in less than a minute. So I want you to really spend time and reframe it and focus on what you appreciate about yourself, what you'd like to acknowledge yourself for. 20 things. All right. Appreciation is such a helpful personal practice. Just to reframe the mindset. And it's really fun to give appreciation and to receive it. So we're going to practice doing that. So I want you to partner with somebody that you know, or somebody you've been talking with, or of course you've been doing that, so you don't have to move. But if you know somebody and you want to switch, if you know somebody well in this room, this is a fun exercise to do. And if you don't, that's okay, because you can still have fun with it. And it's amazing how much you can, just by being in this workshop today and having a little bit of connection and engagement, how much there is to appreciate about somebody that you just started talking with. So we are going to do an appreciation exercise, and we're going to find things that we appreciate about another and share them. And it could be anything. It could be, you're such a great listener. I love your smile. You know, I'm so glad, I really appreciate that you sat down next to me. I appreciate how you have really nice handwriting. Or I appreciate your sense of humor. So I love your sweater. I want you to find, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. It'll go by really fast. And if you can't think of something, so I want you to start out and I want you to say, Mark, what's your name? I'm going to do it with you. Nigist. Nigist, I'm going to do it with you. Okay? So will you stand up with me? Okay. So let's see, 30 seconds. So Nigist, what I appreciate about you is that you sat in the front row today in my workshop. Thank you. What I appreciate about you is your beaming smile, no matter what I'm saying up there. What I appreciate about you is that you're wide awake and not falling asleep. What I appreciate about you is your sense of style. What I appreciate about you is how you're diligently writing out the exercises. What I appreciate about you is how you were so actively engaged with another partner in doing the exercises. What I appreciate about you is you're such a calm and grounded presence. What I appreciate about you is everything. So see,
I want to cry now.
See, how does that feel? See how good that feels? Yes. Yeah. To be on the receiving end. It's fun for me to even do it. Yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'll give you a hug. All right. Thank you for being my volunteer without volunteering. So this is such a powerful activity. And so I want you guys, we're going to give you 30 seconds each. And I want the person who has the shortest fingernails to go first. You will be the appreciator. And I want everybody to stand up, and I want you to face the person. Really face the person. I want the other person to just receive. Now here's the thing. If you feel like you can't come up with something, if you feel like you're drawing a blank, then what you say is, what I appreciate about you is everything. What I appreciate about you, and then you can come up with something else. And if you can't say, what I appreciate about you is everything. And then just take it in. Okay, so I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and then we'll switch and just receive. Okay, what I appreciate about you is, go ahead. Okay, now, if you want to have an incredible, joyful day, go back to your work office team and even just pick one person and do this exercise with them. You can do an exchange, or you could just say, hey, you know what I appreciate about you is this and this and this. And you will make their day, and you will have a different experience. And then you want to continue to have a fun day, go home and do it with somebody. Do it with your partner or your child, yes. Or call your sister or brother or mother or father on the phone and say, you know what, I just want to let you know what I appreciate about you. You will blow them away. They will be so touched, and you will have an amazing special experience. So that is a really fun and powerful way to plant the seeds of joy for yourself and others, is what you appreciate appreciates. And we can start by building that within ourselves and acknowledging ourselves, and then sharing it with others. It's just really fun to even watch you all do that, and to do it with Nigist. Thank you. Okay, and our final seed of joy today is the seed of celebration. And to me, celebration and joy, they're one and the same. To me, celebration is like the verb of joy. Celebrating, and there can be so much to celebrate. Even with all that's going on in the world, or the unknowns, or the challenges that we're having day to day. It's again, what are we focusing on? And we can choose moments of joy. And, it's in these simplest of activities, or our choice of awareness with planting these simple seeds, that we can cultivate much to celebrate. So celebrating creates a commitment to joy. And it's in those simple things. And what are the simple things? They can be simple or big that you are committing to celebrate. What can you acknowledge? What can you reframe for yourself and just, be grateful for and really recognize for yourself? So this is another activity of listing things, but it should be easier. It's not about you. It's about anything and everything that you want to celebrate. And it's about really expanding your awareness. So I want you to think about 20 things that you can celebrate about work, ideally. Okay, and I'm actually going to time you, and there's going to be a special prize for, don't start yet, you can think, just don't write yet, okay? I got to get my stopwatch going. So the person who can come up with the most things to celebrate, and again, it can be tiny or big, amazing or simple. Okay, you ready? I'm going to give you 60 seconds to come up with 20 or more things to celebrate. Go. Okay, who has 20 things written down on their list? Who has 10 things written on their list? Okay, who has 15? Who has 16? 17? 18? We have a winner. All right, you get a special journal to write all of your celebrations and appreciations in every day. Here. 18 and Susan. All right, Susan. Yay. All right. So I encourage you again to celebrate. I wanted you to know that I celebrate you all. Thank you for being part of this workshop. Again, I know that these are really simple, basic things, but that's really all it takes to experience more joy, is to really just make that decision, change your awareness, connect with yourself and connect with others. Thank you for the opportunity to connect with you all here. And I encourage you to go and post something on the joy wall, something that you're celebrating, something that brings you joy at work, and use the joy guide. And please feel free to share with me, your experience. What are some amazing things that happen, or how has work, or how has life changed the more you cultivate joy in your life? So thank you all. It's been a joy to be here.